What's up YouTube, Ben Bon here and welcome to another vlog. I have in my hand the DJI OSMO Action and the DJI OSMO Pocket Gimbal. These are two really great action cameras, obviously from DJI, which I love so much. For the most part, I was using my iPhone for my behind the scenes. I first started with the iPhone 6s Plus and I moved to 7 Plus, and I'm currently with iPhone X, which I was using for my behind the scenes, but I decided to get a camera that will be dedicated for my behind the scenes. This was why I got the DJI Pocket Gimbal. It's really tiny, it's as tiny like a toothbrush. It's really easy to use because I could just give it to anybody and the person would just press record and record my behind the scenes for me. Now my friend just got the DJI OSMO Action, which I decided to test and see the differences between it and the DJI OSMO Pocket, because I was also thinking of getting that one to add up to my Pocket Gimbal. Now what I really love about the two action cameras is the fact that they are really light in weight and small in size. You can just pocket it or you can take it anywhere you want to go, and it doesn't take a lot of space. Now off the top of my head, they both do 4K 60 frames, 1080 60 frames. They both do slow motion. They both can do time lapse. They both can connect to your phone with the DJI app. So you can use your phone as a screen and also at the same time control it with your phone. The main reason why I would get any of them is to use them as my behind the scenes camera. I don't really use it for fancy stuff. I just use it for simple behind the scenes and simple vlogging and all of that stuff. Now the main difference between these two action cameras is the design. One has a really tiny design, almost like a toothbrush, and one has a normal action camera design. As I said, what I really love about the Pocket Gimbal is the fact that it's really tiny, it's really small. Most of the times when I'm outside using it, people don't really realize that it's a camera, and so you're able to get a lot of candid shots. It's also really easy to use. It's just press record and it start recording, and so I can just give it to anybody. When I'm shooting outside and I need some behind the scenes footage, I can just give it to anybody with no special skill to just record the behind the scenes. It shoots 4K 60 frames, 4K 30 frames, also 2.7K and then 1080p. Even though it shoots 4K, I hardly shoot at 4K. I'm always shooting at 1080 60 frames, which is enough for my behind the scenes or any vlogging or trip video that I want to do. It uses micro SD just like any other action camera. You can also connect it to your phone using the DJI app. There's different mounts depending on the type of phone you use. I currently use iPhone, so I have the iPhone mount. You charge it with a USB Type-C, so I can use my MacBook Pro's charger to charge it, but it comes with a Type-C cable that you can use to charge it too. I really love this Pocket Gimbal. So far, no regrets. It's just amazing for all the things that I need to do. One tiny disadvantage that comes with this is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of mounting options. Like, because it already comes in a gimbal kind of design, there's little ways of mounting this camera, and so that's the only thing. But I'm sure as time goes on, there will be solutions to this. One thing I also love about this is the fact that it has face tracking, and so it can actually track your subject really well, follow your subject wherever your subject is going. Based on the design, they decided to add a selfie mode, which I'm currently using, and it has the face tracking, which perfectly tracks my face, and you have the selfie mode to record yourself if you're on a trip and you're vlogging and all of that. And so that's one thing I love about it. Now, this is the OSMO Action, and this belongs to my friend, so I borrowed it to just test and see the differences, and I must say I actually really love it. It also shoots 4K 60 frames, 4K 30 frames, 1080p 60 frames, 1080p 120 frames. Those are the things that are important to me. It does a whole lot of stuff, time-lapse, HDR, so many stuff. You can check it online. But since I use this just for my behind the scenes, I don't really use it for a lot of fancy stuff that I can use them for. So 1080p 60 frames, 4K 60 frames, 4K 30 frames, it's just okay for me. One major advantage this has over the Pocket Gimbal is the fact that this has so many mount options. In terms of ways of mounting it, it has so many options. If you get the right set, you can mount it on your head, you can strap it on your chest, you can mount it in your car, you can mount it by the side of your car. There's so many ways you can mount this camera because of the design, and so it's just easy to get different mounts for it. You can also put ND filters in front of the lens. So let me just unscrew it for you guys to see. There's so many different ND filters that you can attach to the lens of this action camera. This also has a bigger screen at the back for you to see what you're recording. Compared to the Pocket Gimbal, it actually has a really tiny screen, and so I mean, that's why they add the option of connecting it to your phone for bigger screen. So I mean, whichever works for you. This also uses the micro SD card, just like the Pocket Gimbal. And one main difference is the fact that the lens on this is a lot wider than the one on the Pocket Gimbal. You would have to add lenses onto the Pocket Gimbal to give you a wider view. But this already has a wider view, which I think is great. What these both cameras also have is the fact that you can shoot in scene light, which is like a log format where it gives you a more flat tone so that you can be able to grade it later. One thing I noticed about using these two action cameras is the fact that the battery life on the Pocket Gimbal is actually stronger than the DJI Action, because it seems the DJI Action quickly loses battery power compared to when I'm using the Pocket Gimbal. When I charge the Pocket Gimbal, it lasts me the whole day. And so if you are getting the DJI Action, I think you would have to buy a lot of batteries along with it. With the DJI Pocket, you can't take out the battery, but once I charge it, I fully charge it, it can last me the whole day. And so between these two action cameras, I think I really love the Pocket Gimbal because it has it already comes in a gimbal design where you can just have a place to hold. Compared to the DJI Action, you have to mount it on a tripod or whichever stick that DJI designed for it before you can be able to hold it and move comfortably. And I also think it depends on the kind of content that you create, because if you are more of an action person and you will need a lot of mount options, creative mount, then I think you should go for the DJI Action. But if you're just like me who just want to record behind the scenes and not anything fancy, then you can get the Pocket Gimbal. But I think also the best thing is to get both, because you might never know when you will need action and when you need just a simple behind the scenes type of recording. And so to me, I'm actually planning to get the DJI OSMO Action in addition to my Pocket Gimbal. Let me know what you also think about these action cameras. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.